Hey guys, it's Tarkhis from TarkhisGaming, and welcome to my tutorial on how to build a 100% automatic melon farm. This will also work with sugarcane, but it won't work with the multi-stage crops such as wheat, nether wart, stuff like that. What it does is it relies on a bud switch. So right now I just have one on each end, so if a melon grows in either of these two spots, it'll harvest all of them. You can change it up if you want to change the harvest rates. I find this one works. You can only have one if you want. If you want it to harvest less often, you can have two more on this end if you want it to harvest more often. Of course, you'd have to move the nether portal down so that the items will drop and then go through the nether portal, but it'll all work out. It all depends on how you want to harvest it. So what it does is all these melons will grow along here, and then once one grows in this spot, it'll pop them up and then push them in. These ones that get stuck here, what happens is they'll get harvested. They'll get pushed into the middle the next time it harvests. But occasionally you will get one or two that get stuck there. But this is by far the most efficient design. I had another one over here that used a monostable circuit to release the water and all that, but it's not nearly as efficient because it tends to get the melons stuck where the stems are much more often. Oops. This is what I have in the nether for it. I just have it so that when it comes through, there's a drop on either side so that it helps it so that they don't go back through. Again, that's why you're going to want to have ice below this water. I have ice below here so that when it does come through, it has enough speed so that it doesn't come back into the overworld. The only issue with that is that when you change, it doesn't stack the items, so there'll be a higher entity count, which may lag your game, but you're picking them up right away, so it's not a huge deal. So now I'm going to show you how to build it, so give me a second here. So obviously the first thing you're going to want to do is build your nether portal. I already have that because I'm assuming everyone knows how to build a nether portal. Leading up to it, you're going to want 2 blocks of ice, two blocks wide, as long as you want your farm to be. The longest it can be is 8 because that's how long the water will flow. But if you want to move it up a block, then you can make it even longer. Once you have the ice and the portal set up, you're going to want to line each side with dirt. It has to be dirt because that's what melons will grow on. On the sides here, you're going to want it 2 wide. That's because you'll need one spot for the stem and one spot for the actual melon itself. Once you have that set up, you're going to want to put your water in the middle. So if I take my water out, put it here. The other nice thing about having the water there in the middle is that it also hydrates this, so you don't have to worry about it popping off when you're trying to plant them. So because you do have to till it when you're trying to plant your melon seeds, or else they won't plant. So once you get it all lined up along there, you can go ahead and plant your seeds in there. I'm not going to go through it. I use bone meal just to make sure that it grows right away, but you don't have to in your survival world or anything like that. Once you get that set up, you're going to want to go ahead and build the dirt wall. Part of this is to keep it in. Part of it's for looks and part of it's to make sure that the melons don't come out when you're going through it. I'm going to go ahead and finish building this wall and then I'll start filming again in a sec. Okay, so all I've done is add a dirt border all the way around the side, and then I've grown all these melon stems just to make it easier. What you're going to want to do next is line the top of all these with pistons facing towards the center. These are the pistons that are going to push the don't want to go in there. Push the loot from the melons into the center. That way it goes into the water stream and goes into the nether portal. The other thing you're going to have to do is make sure this end block is a sticky piston facing away from in there. And then you're going to want I use a stone block just so I can tell the difference, but you can use any block that conducts redstone. After that, you're going to want to get a torch and make sure this torch is under the block in front so that when this piston extends, it'll be on that. And you want the same thing on the other side. What you want to do is link these. That's because when one goes off, you want to make sure that both sides harvest. You could do it individually if you want, that's up to you, but I prefer just to have it together. Once you do that, you're going to want to line it with redstone. This is going to be used to turn off these pistons. You're going to want to put pistons below these, and then it's also going to be used to turn off the bud switch for a minute so that it doesn't keep triggering it. Because what you're going to have happening is a piston coming up here, and this dirt block's going to move right next to this bud switch. So if you have your bud switch constantly on, it's going to start looping. So what you have to do is you're going to have to turn that off. So it's getting dark here. Let me sleep and I'll start filming in a sec. Alright, so as I was saying, you're going to want to turn off the bud switch for a second. Oops. So that it's not constantly being powered. To set up the bud switch itself, you're going to want a layer of dirt above these. And I prefer to have it in the middle, just because if you have it out here, it's going to be powering this one. You have to go through a lot more work redesigning this so that it fits. What you're going to want to do is have it come up a block and then have this powered. This is what creates the actual bud switch, because now that this is powered diagonally from the piston, any update there is going to cause it to extend. After that, you're going to want to go ahead and build this up, and you're going to want to have it on 2 different delays for the purpose that I said before, where you're going to want to make sure that the bud switch goes off for a second, not a second, but a period of time beforehand, so that it's not constantly being powered. So connect this up with the redstone, and then you're going to want 2 repeaters going into each side of this block. This also makes sure that the current's not just looping around and repowering itself. One of them you're going to want to set to the last tick. That way, when this becomes powered, the current will come up and go in this one first and turn it off, but then it'll continue going on for this one, and that'll give it that extra time that it needs to make sure that it doesn't loop. So next you're going to want to go ahead and dig down here so that you can find the blocks, which I believe are, there's the ice, so that means that, you're going to want your pistons right there. So hollow out a nice little 2 wide area for you to walk down, and you're going to want to go right up until you see the portal. So now this is where you really should do this before you put your dirt up there. I don't think I have. Oh, I have water up there. Because you're going to want to, I'm just going to get rid of this. Because you want to make sure that these are facing up. And you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. Along here, you're going to want redstone repeaters going into each of these. You're going to want a repeater somewhere along here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here. That's just because if the other one goes off, the far side goes off, it's not going to have enough power to get all the way down to the end there. So now with that repeater, you can fill in all the redstone and come up and connect that here. So now you'll want to do the exact same thing on the other side. Like I said, I should have put those pistons in before I put this in. Sorry, my phone started ringing there. I had to cut the recording. Since then, I just did the exact same thing on the other side. All you have to do is mirror it by putting this and then all of those. So now all you have left to do is make sure you power these top pistons. So you'll want a line of blocks behind them, and you want redstone on top of these. And then you're just going to hook it up to the end over here and bring it up. Make sure that you leave space here for a repeater. That's because you want this top row to go off after the bottom row has. That way it's not, if you have this go off before, then they're going to be extended and this is just going to push it up into it. By having them delayed, it's going to push this up, and then these are going to push the melons off and into the water, which is what you want. So have this delay here to the fourth, unlike the bottom one, which is just at 1. You want this to the farthest back one, and you want to do the exact same thing on this side here. So you just go 1 and then build it up. You want a line of blocks here with redstone along the top, and then you want the repeater with the longest delay, and then hook it up. So now if I come down here, I've broken these now, but you can get the same idea if I just place a melon. So if I place a couple along here, that's not right, I don't want that. Then all I have to do is place one here. It'll go up, push them over, and they'll all go down into the portal and go through. So now you can just build up your walls and make it look however you want. The only downside to this design here is that you have this redstone that has to be visible. You can build it up, but the most you can do is put half slabs above it because you can't break this connection. That's the only real drawback to this design, but other than that, it works perfectly. Very good quality, very good efficiency, and you go through and collect your loot, and it'll all be sitting right there. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please give it a like, and if you really like it, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.